We are here with Bettina von Hagen, the co-founder of Ecotrust Forest Management, and I am happy to take the opportunity today to chat with her a little bit about the projects that we've worked together on over in the Scott River headwaters. You will have heard about them from Siskiyou Land Trust as the Whiskey and Wildcat Conservation Easements, and we're currently working on the Shackelford Conservation Easement with EFM. So I wanted to start, Bettina, by asking you to tell us a little bit about EFM's decision to come to California. These projects were the first for EFM in California, and what impact you hope to make by purchasing those properties. And I think that gives you an opportunity to talk to us a little bit too about EFM's goals and management approach.
Sure. Thank you, Renee, and hello, everybody. So we started EFM in 2004 with the goal of really bringing a different style of forest management to the region, one that looks at managing forests for the whole range of products and services that forests produce. So that would be timber, carbon, biodiversity, water, jobs, recreation, and so on, and really provide an alternative to sort of the dichotomy that was existing at the time of sort of either you harvest or you conserve, and really develop a model for working forests, which are, so much, constitute such a large portion of the forests in the region. And so we look specifically for properties that have a lot of the characteristics that Scott River Headwaters has. They're properties that are, not only does it matter what matters at the property scale, but also at the landscape scale. So they're properties that are surrounded by other important conservation properties, by wilderness, by land trust lands, by other sort of public and private lands that are being managed for the same purposes that we are, so that the work that we do can be enhanced at a landscape scale by the other properties. And Scott River Headwaters is just sort of exceptional in that respect. As you know, it's bounded and adjacent to 3 different wilderness areas. It forms the connection between the wilderness, Marble Mountain, Russian, and so on, and the valley bottom. It is a working forest that has been worked hard and would appreciate a different approach. It has so much potential, as you know, one of the places of highest conifer biodiversity in the world. So much production of so many streams running through it, 13 streams running through that property, 13 major streams, countless others, such a contribution to Scott River, such a contribution to the Klamath system, so important for salmon. Those were all of the really important things that drew us to the area. And of course, the forest itself has great capacity for much higher productivity and health and diversity with an approach that really values the full range of products and services that it has. The other thing that we look for that we really appreciated in this community was the social ecosystem. Siskiyou Land Trust being prominent among those, but also a really lovely active watershed council that we've done a lot of work with. We have come in our diligence to look as much to sort of that social fabric as to the timber characteristics and ecological characteristics, because we know that in order to engage in restoration projects, in order to successfully pursue conservation easements, we need partners. We need, in particular, a really great land trust partner in order to pursue those. So you can have all the other stuff, but if you don't have a social ecosystem, you're not going to be successful in terms of seeking funding for permanent protection and for conservation and for restoration funding.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing that, Bettina, because it has been just amazing to work with EFM. And as we've done so, I mean, you reached out to Siskiyou Land Trust really early after EFM purchased the properties there on the west side of Scott Valley. And it was a really neat thing for us to become a part of the project. And it's, I think, an interesting thing for folks to hear, why did EFM choose to look for a local land trust? How do you feel that that locality of a land trust contributes to that social fabric that you described?
Yeah, absolutely. And we did seek you out, and we had a nice courtship. And then of course, this relationship that we've developed. And, I think we have most of the places where we work with very local land trusts. We want to know, these are projects in which we put a lot of resources. We bring equity capital to bear. The results are very, very important to us. And we want to know that the land trust is deeply committed to that and that it's their number one project. Sometimes will be a number two, but generally that it is a very high priority project for them. So that's part of the attraction of working with the local land trust, where this landscape is deeply important to them, and the relationships that they have are really local as well. Renee, I appreciated, I think, when I met you, that you had a long background in ranching, and a long family background in that. And I think it's important for us to, our values at EFM is we're really deeply committed to working landscapes. We recognize all of the benefits of conservation in terms of biodiversity protection, water protection, and all the rest. We know that wood has to come from somewhere. And so, working with a land trust that understands working landscapes, that understands the benefits and the opportunities of both creating jobs and opportunities for local people, and developing and helping to contribute to a local economy that's based on healthy forests and the flow of products and services from them is really important in terms of that conservation being enduring, and also those conservation benefits being equitable, and really linking the fortunes of the community to the fortunes of that healthy forest, through that economic exchange, are a really important aspect for us as well. So we felt like you were a kindred spirit in terms of the people, you, Renee, Kathleen, Garrett, and others, from the SLT community. We felt that we were aligned in terms of our values. So that was, I think, another part of it.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I just have to tell you, it's been delightful to be working with EFM on these projects. And we're really looking forward to the final project, Shackelford, to complete conservation easements across the entire ownership. So it's been a handful of years since EFM purchased the property. I think we're coming up on 3.5 or 4 years. There's been some challenges during that period of time. Fire has certainly been one of those, but can you take a few seconds to highlight, what some of the positives or positive challenges have been in this period of time that EFM has owned these lands?
Yeah, it's actually sort of a blink of an eye of time in terms of, where the desired future condition of this forest and where it needs to go. I think that some of the highlights have been, obviously the conservation easements. So, reducing development pressure permanently, removing development pressure from the land is number one. And as you said, Shackelford will be a great project for us this coming year. The other, is we were really, really grateful to receive grant funding, from CAL FIRE to do a number of different things on the property, which we would like to do much, much more. Thinning and fire resilience would be top of the list. Being able to continue to expand that project. As a lot of the fire originates in the wilderness, and we are the defense, for the Valley community of those wilderness fires, because we have the roads and the infrastructure. And it's often the first place where you can actually fight the fires. So continuing to really work with the community, with CAL FIRE, with all of the agencies around fire resilience is really top of the list for us in terms of forest health. I think, like you, the fires of 2020 were absolutely traumatizing, and 2021, and just the increased pace of fire. And, we have to protect these forests from that type of catastrophic fire. So anyway, so fire resilience would be top of the list. The other work we have done is replanting previously burned areas that were burned actually before our ownership, and protecting water resources. The work we've done with the Watershed Council and others on making a lot of our streams inviting for beaver. We've been really thrilled to have such a great beaver education in Scott Valley, and to think about reintroducing beaver into the landscape in a meaningful way, and enhancing the ability of our property to act as a sponge and increase habitat benefits and all of that. So, all of that while this property continues to, while the trees continue to grow and mature and recover, I think, from prior harvests and get into a place where they can once again begin to contribute to sort of responsible timber production in the region more significantly. So all of those things. So I think timber production is on our mind, which is really sort of creating the conditions for the forest to get into a place where we can resume timber harvesting in a way that is contributes financially to the property, contributes to the region in terms of jobs and opportunities, but does so in a way that continues to grow the inventory and grow diversity and grow structural complexity, fire resilience, and then of course all of the restoration around the waterways to really enhance the flow of cold, clean water. So those, I think, are all things on our minds. We'd love to think more about with the community about other opportunities around job creation. We love the biochar project. Not sure if that's the one that's going to really be a strong economic engine or not. But we love to continue to explore, of course, methods of using small diameter wood in ways that are productive. We know that a lot of our production will be around that as we do those restoration projects, and finding opportunities to create jobs and create value around those are also top of our list. So those are some of the things we're thinking about as we and planning for, as we go into this next few years of ownership.
Nice. Well, thank you, Bettina. And I'm really grateful that we were able to have this conversation and to share with Land Trust supporters. I think it's an awesome opportunity for you all to get a sense for EFM and the work that they bring to these lands and to Siskiyou County. And it's been such a wonderful working relationship for us, a wonderful opportunity for conservation here in Siskiyou County. And Bettina, we are so grateful to be in this long relationship of partnership with you and EFM. So thank you so much for your time today. And I'm really happy that we got to do this together.
Me too, Renee, and we are so grateful for you and for the Land Trust, and so excited that you are growing and expanding and becoming, the force in the region that is so much needed.
Nice. Well, thank you.